Hello, coaches. Welcome back to the ICF series on the Code of Ethics. I'm Brighton West, and I'm the host of this series. And today we are heading into Section 4, Responsibility to Society. And I have with me today Gürkan Sarıoğlu, and I'm going to have him pronounce that a little better for us. But he's going to be going through this section. He's a member of the code review team. So Gürkan, thank you for joining us. And if you could help me with that pronunciation the proper way.
Hello there, this is Gürkan Sarıoğlu, and I'm happy to be here working on this section of this code.
So section number 25 is about discrimination. What do coaches need to be looking out for there?
The discrimination by ICF professionals is unacceptable and unethical behavior. And it is a breach of this standard. And discrimination is really based on race, ethnicity, nationality, and gender identity. And it could be overt or covert, conscious or unconscious, and it could be intentional or unintentional, but we've got to be aware of that. And while being non-discriminative, we've got to obey the local laws and the other things that deals with ethics. More information you could just find in the ethical interpretive statements of every standard.
So thank you, Gürkan, for that. I think biases, a lot of us, it's hard to see them, so it's something that we definitely need to work in. But let's get on to number 26, which is about claiming property as your own or intellectual property rights. So what do coaches need to be thinking about here?
Intellectual property is a work or invention that results out of creativity, and we should not be just taking and using them without the prior content of the owner, either giving by citing just linkages or references to them. Otherwise, we would be abusing and misusing the brand or just the right of the intellectual property. So more information, again, you could find in the interpretive statements on this standard.
Well, thank you. So 26 talks about intellectual standards. 27 talks about scientific standards. So what do coaches need to be recognizing here?
Yeah, if we choose to engage in some kind of a formal research as under the name of ICF Professional, we should for sure obey and do the thing according to the professional standards. It should be in compliance with the standards of research conducting. Therefore, we should not do something that is also out of our boundaries, I mean, just boundaries of our competencies, and we should be use the proper ways to conduct it.
Thanks. So it looks like that standard applies only to coaches who are doing research and not just everyday coaching. So let's move on to the last standard here, which is about the impact of not only the coach, but the client on society. So what do coaches need to be looking for here?
Yeah, we've got to be really aware of our impact and also our clients' impact on the society. And it is really impacting, coaching is impacting the client, and client also is impacting his or her surroundings, and therefore it is not only just one person being impacted, but maybe the whole society just going from there step by step with client systems and the larger systems related with that, the family, the group, the organizations and others. Therefore, we've got to know our clients' impact on society. So this standard has another part into it where we just talk about doing good and avoiding bad versus avoiding bad. Now, the term avoiding bad is used in the context of being obedient just to the ethical standards and thus avoiding being in a state of breach. And this standards asks more than that. We've got to get involved not only with the standards, but also with the ethical values and principles. And that means that we've got to do more than what is asked by the standards, and we should not do any harm to anybody within our relations, whether there is a standard on what we are dealing with in the standards, I mean, it's in the code or not. We've got to really take it into a doing no harm part, as doctors do. So there is a good deal of information again in the interpretive statements on this. Please do that, because this doing good versus avoiding bad had made up a lot of discussions over it within the ethics community of coaches. So more information you could find in the interpretive statements. And apart from that, the ICF core values and principles is a big section within the code, and I urge you to go and look at that part also.
Well, thank you, Gherkin, for giving these last four standards of section number 4. So there's one section remaining, number 5, and that's about the pledge, and you can check out that video right up here. I'll see you in the next video.